So right off the bat, I will say that I believe this is the best way to experience a story. While hours upon hours of reading build-up may seem like a slog to sit through as opposed to 12 anime episodes, it is so worth it. And I personally never found myself bored. Seeing the story through Okabe's unique perspective really made even the most mundane of tasks and happenings seem so interesting. And they use these occurrences to really build the characters up and get you attached to them. The visual novel is definitely the longest of the adaptations, which means we get the most content story-wise. And the art in the game is amazing. Huke's art has this unique vibrance to it that really suits the quirky sci-fi atmosphere that Steins Gate has going for it. I mentioned this in my linear bounded Phonogram review, but it's Huke's amazing art that makes Steins Gate Elite seem almost pointless to me. I bought it because I am a sucker for anything Steins Gate and I wanted to play linear bounded Phonogram, but I haven't touched the main visual novel yet. I heard it adds nothing story-wise. Going back to the original visual novel I was talking about, along with the art, it's got an equally great soundtrack, and the biggest score for the visual novel, in my opinion, is the multiple endings. Naturally, as the anime only adapts one route, the true route, you miss out on all the great alternate endings. The writing to them is fantastic, and seeing the many different ways Okabe's journey could have ended is so interesting to me. Suzuha's ending was the first one I got, and when I thought for a full 5 seconds that her ending was the main ending to the story, I was very shocked. I'm getting off topic. The alternate endings are all great, and make you appreciate the true ending of the story that much more. Onto the anime. Thank goodness this adaptation was actually good, unlike Chaos Head and Child. If visual novels aren't your thing, the anime adaptation of Steins Gate is a totally valid and great way to experience the story. One I recommend watching even if you've already played the visual novel. The animation, while not as distinctive as Huke, is very nice, and a couple of the scenes where they play with the art style to change the atmosphere on a dime is really fascinating. The opening is nothing short of a masterpiece, and same goes for the ending song. And the anime, while condensing some things from the visual novel story, also adds some extra scenes and interactions. The visual novel is solely through Okabe's perspective, unless I'm forgetting something, it has been a quick minute since I played it, whereas the anime has the freedom to show characters and what they're doing when they're not hanging around Okabe. These scenes aren't anything groundbreaking, but they're fun and welcome additions to show us more about the characters. Also, there's a bonus episode set a year after the events of the main story, and it shows how everyone's doing, and resolves a couple lingering questions you may have had from the main story. It also has a sequel movie, Lode Region of Deja Vu, which breaks some of the world-line rules established in Steins Gate, but it is an amazing character-focused movie that wraps up Okabe's and Kurisu's character development in a nice little bow. It also weirdly references something only seen in the visual novel and not in the anime, which I thought was weird, but it was cool to see the anime reference this event in some way. It may not be canon, I don't know, but it's nice. So in short, the anime is a great adaptation of the story of Steins Gate, and even has a couple things special to itself. I only wish the anime adaptation of Steins Gate Zero was that good. Please, if you want to try Steins Gate Zero, read the visual novel first. The anime isn't bad necessarily, but compared to the first anime, it definitely falls short for a number of reasons. I highly recommend playing the Steins Gate Zero visual novel, but that's not what this video is about. On to the next and final main adaptation of Steins Gate, the manga. Don't read it if you haven't played the visual novel or seen the anime. While I do personally like the manga and own them all, it is a super condensed version of the story. How Steins Gate works is it takes its time building the time machine and setting up the tension for when stuff gets real when a certain thing happens halfway through the story. You're more emotionally invested, which both the visual novel and anime did wonderfully. But when you're working with only 3 relatively short manga volumes, you just can't do that. You get a brief intro, a very sped up and not nearly as engaging version of the first half of the story, and then the second half followed by the finale and conclusion. And it all happens so fast that you can't really care about anything that's happening. As a fan, I enjoyed it. I think the art is really cool, I especially love the cover art. And seeing the small things they add or change is fun, but do not use this as your first way to experience Steins Gate. I think it's very worth it if you've seen the anime or played the visual novel and have already experienced the ideal versions of the story. But yeah, just don't. The covers do look really good lined up though. Well everyone, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and comment down below what you thought of the video, and which version of Steins Gate you played, watched, or read first. The visual novel, anime, or manga. Alright guys, until I see you in the next video, El Sai Kongru. Or Congress. Or is it kangaroo? I can never remember. It's something with a K, or a C, or some letter. I don't know.